Turbo is ready to take off. It is just a matter of time. Right now, with the market being as hot as it is, with basically all of your coins in this past day, past week, past month being in the green, right? This past week, you basically have all of your coins recover from those September lows, those early October lows. And right now, the market is looking very, very good. You can see Turbo right now is still sitting at just over a penny, right? We had that massive run up all the way to about 1.3 cents, and then we cooled off a bit, which was really needed because this RSI was capping off at about 81. Right now we're sitting at about 67 RSI, so we've definitely cooled off a bit, and I can actually expect us to cool off even more, right? I could expect us to drop maybe even back down and touch 1 penny, maybe just under a penny again. Right now we are creating a support zone at the previous all-time high area of just under a penny, which is really good to see, right? We want to see Turbo right now create that much higher support than we had before. A few weeks ago, the support for Turbo was sitting at basically 1/3 of a cent, and right now we've tripled that and we're sitting at a support of a penny. So that is extremely good for the future of Turbo, because in order to create higher highs, you need to create higher lows first, and that's exactly what Turbo is currently doing. So it's very good to see. Turbo is in a very hot narrative, being the meme coin sector as well as the AI sector, right? Turbo hits both of those narratives very well, and I can expect the total meme coin sector to grow tenfold during this bull run, which means Turbo will most likely grow another tenfold from today's price, most likely even more. Where do I see Turbo landing at the peak of the bull run? I've covered this in many videos, but you guys can take a screenshot of this chart. I think Turbo right now can do one of two things. The first possible option is that Turbo can create supports in the near future, somewhere in this previous all-time high range to maybe back down to this local high right here, sitting at about 0.007. So anywhere in this range, I've drawn out the support box in red right here. So in the next few weeks, Turbo could create supports and then go up from there, depending on what Bitcoin does, right? And I say depending on what Bitcoin does, because if Bitcoin does actually make another push into, you know, that 80K range, it breaks all-time high, goes to 80K to 90K in the next few weeks, then what we could see is we could see Turbo rally early and create more new all-time highs before the end of 2024. And I think that's actually going to be what's going to happen. What's most likely to happen is that Turbo rallies once again, right? We see another few days of cool off, but then in a few weeks, or maybe even less than a week, we see another rally for Turbo, and Turbo hits another all-time high. And just based on a quick Fibonacci extension, if we do from the local high to the local low, we can see that I am targeting this 4.236 extension. So that is 0.044, so almost 0.045. That is going to be the area I'm targeting. So that would be basically another 4x from today's price. Can I see that happening? Definitely, right? If Bitcoin makes another push, if we see all of your meme coins make another push, then this can definitely happen, right? It is not out of the question. Turbo is getting massive volume right now, right? $900 million volume. The average volume the last 30 days has actually been 2.99 billion. Yeah, this coin is getting insane volume. Look at this performance, right? Look at the technicals. It is the most bullish meme coin for myself during this cycle. It is the meme coin I hold the most of, and it is the meme coin that I have the strongest conviction in. We also need to take a look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is going to determine what Turbo does in the short term and in the long term, right? In fact, it's going to determine what all of your cryptos do in the short term and long term. Now, looking at what is Bitcoin doing, right? It is going towards this major main resistance that we've had for the past 6-7 months, right? It is that 70K range. Can Bitcoin break its previous all-time high of around 71K all the way back in March? I think it can, right? If Bitcoin cools off a little bit right now in the short term and then makes another rally, right? We get more investors in and Bitcoin pushes out of that 70K range, we are going to see new all-time highs before the end of the year, and we're going to see your altcoins also continue to trend upwards. Bitcoin is going to be the top dog for this short period of time when Bitcoin makes this push, but after Bitcoin tops off and you see Bitcoin dominance go down, that's when you see all of your altcoins shoot up exponentially, right? Your altcoins are still going to go up as Bitcoin goes up, But when Bitcoin tops off, that's when you're going to see a really massive push in your altcoins. And just looking at Bitcoin dominance right now, where does Bitcoin dominance stand? We're actually seeing it start to teeter off a little bit, right? This is expected, right? Bitcoin needs a little bit of a cool off as well, right? A lot of your meme coins have been outperforming Bitcoin, so this is definitely expected, but I would expect Bitcoin dominance to keep going up a little bit more, probably hit that 60% range, right? I'm guessing it's going to top off somewhere around the 60%, and then we're going to see this, right? We're going to see this fall off in Bitcoin dominance, and then that's when your altcoin season is going to begin. When will that happen? I've laid out kind of my prediction all the way down here, based on kind of a 45-month prediction. It's going to be somewhere in either December or January, right? Plus or minus maybe 1 to 2 months. A lot of these predictions are not always completely 100% accurate, so you have to have a little bit of a margin of error. But I can definitely expect somewhere around end of the year or maybe early next year, Q1 next year, for that altcoin season to begin, for that Bitcoin dominance to have a massive drop off. Get ready, guys, right? Make sure you're in all of your positions before then. I mean, you should already be in all of your positions, at least 80 to 90% in all of your positions at this point, right? If you're still, sitting with 50% cash, I don't think that's a good idea, because you do not want the train to leave the station. And right now, the train currently has not fully left the station yet, right? You still have a chance to get into some of your positions, to top off some of your bags. You're going to see days like this many more times in the near future. I can almost guarantee it, right? Get used to this green, right? Get used to seeing so much green, because it is coming. And when it comes, it's going to be marvelous. I can't wait, guys. I absolutely can't wait. And I know the crypto fear and greed index is very high right now. It's in the greed, which means you should be very careful into getting into large positions right now, right? Like I said, you should already be in most of your positions. And if you panic sold, then, that's a lesson, right? Make sure to learn that lesson and not do it again, because we're still going to have dips, right? We're still going to have, minor 10% dips in some of your coins, which we had recently, right? Turbo went from 1.3 cents all the way down to about 1 cent. So it had, a solid 20% dip, right? When that's going to happen time and time again as the bull run continues. We're going to see small dips, right? Small retracements as people take profits, right? Some people in Turbo have already made more than a 10x, easily more than a 10x, right? I've already made more than a 10x in Turbo because I got in back in February. There are so many people that have still yet to take profit in Turbo, which means you're going to see dips as the bull run continues. But that does not mean you should panic, because dips are part of the process, right? You just have to understand when to get out, right? Once you hit your price targets, that's when you start to scale out little by little. And that could mean maybe taking your initial investment out, right? As soon as you kind of maybe double, right? Or maybe triple your investment, you take that initial investment out and then let the rest ride, right? That is always a good strategy, right? To basically protect your initial investment in the case that, yes, let's say Turbo tops off early, right? Let's say Turbo hits maybe, 10 cents. And that's it, right? That's the peak of Turbo, and it goes down from there, and the bull run ends. Well, if you took profit at least 1 to 2 times from right now to that 10-cent range, then you're still going to be in the green. You can never fully time the market. You can never correctly predict every single move in the market. So you need to be able to scale out your profits accordingly, and that is one of the most important concepts to learn in crypto. I talk about this in every single video, right? These are the 4 most important concepts that you should understand. Bitcoin dominance, right? I've talked about this in every video. Buying the narratives. Meme coins right now are the hottest altcoin narrative. So, getting into something like Turbo is going to hit this checkbox. And then you have patience, right? Patience is basically just not panic selling, and also being patient with your entries, right? Looking for points of support for your entries. And exit plan, which is what we are gearing towards right now. Exit plan is something that you need to have, right? You can't just wing it and say, oh, I'm just gonna, get out of the market. I'm just gonna sell when I feel like it, because you're not going to do that, right? You're not going to sell when you feel like it, because the thing is, when we get to euphoria, what you feel is going to be euphoria, right? You're going to feel euphoric. You're going to feel like you're on top of the world, and you're not going to want to sell. That is why it's called euphoria, because you want that feeling to last forever. And if you exit, then you're not going to have that feeling anymore. So that's why having an exit plan, right, kind of getting rid of that euphoric feeling little by little, right? You're still going to have a little bit of it, but you just, kind of staircase out of that feeling, out of your position. That is going to be the best way to make money in this cycle, because you can be a millionaire on paper. You can have $1 million worth of turbo, but if it's not in your bank account, then, you have nothing. So that is the game that we all play. That is why so many people lose in crypto, is because they don't have this exit plan. I'm gonna be making a full video on exit plan. Stay tuned for that. And that's gonna be it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what other videos you want to see, and I'll see you guys in the next one.